Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Friday. Finally, we made it to the end of the week, and boy, it's a cold one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our wonderful and talented Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. Are you ready for this morning?
So it wasn't bad at my house, but the closer I got to Fargo,
it was here.
Wow, it was like a wall of water and sleet. That wasn't awesome.
Yeah, that was not fun. We had a little coating of snow overnight, and then about 10:30 this morning, we had a snow squall come through where you could not see more than about a quarter mile. So it didn't last long, and ground temperature is very warm, so that didn't stick to the roadways. But this is just kind of Mother Nature saying, hey, you know what?
She's still in charge.
Yeah, I'm in charge, and it is October. We typically see our first snowflakes during the month of October, not unheard of. And what has started out as a very roller coaster start to October, up and down temperatures. Now we're in the downswing, but looks better by the end of next week. We'll be back into the mid to upper 60s.
Yeah, we'll have that bounce back in return, which is just fine. Again, you asked earlier before you and I walked in here into the studio, does this impede harvest? Maybe a little bit, but not a significant amount, right? If you had a lot of moisture on a particular field, it may mean that you're not on that field today, but it's not going to tie us up for days.
Okay. And we were both commenting on our Facebook page that one of the farmers already just about done with the sugar beet harvest. So.
Quite a few are wrapping up.
Okay. So what's left? Corn?
Absolutely. And even the folks that are finishing sugar beets probably still have some soybeans left in the field.
Okay.
Then we've still got corn, and we definitely still have sunflowers as well. So we've got a few things that need to happen yet. If the weather remains the way it has been, I realize, as you said, we had just a little bit of an offset this morning. We could see a majority of harvest wrapped up by Halloween.
Okay.
That'd be a big step for us.
Yeah, well, considering the late start, too.
Absolutely. Didn't think we'd see that. And, there were farmers planting soybeans right around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And we're at harvest now.
And it has been dry, a very dry month of September. And this month has been really dry, too, which that's not necessarily a good thing, as we've been talking about. The new LRC cycle has started. We're about, what is today, the 14th? So we're about 8 days into the new cycle.
Right.
And we've seen very dry weather continue. And this is our first stormy part of the cycle, if you will. And it's a big storm in terms of the real estate it's taking up. And when this thing cycles back through a couple times during this winter, imagine what we got now. It's going to be, especially if we have snow on the ground.
You're going to get cursed for being raped.
Oh, man.
Just so you know.
Right. So we are going to take a very quick break. If you want to get in on the conversation, whether it be about LRC or anything agriculture, give us a call, 701-293-9000, 701-293-9000, or you can email us at weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. He's at the center of what happened that day, and the January 6th committee wants to hear from the last president. Subpoena in the works.
The vote unanimous.
The ayes have it.
The panel seeking more information from former President Trump himself and his alleged plan to remain in power. The committee maintaining Trump knew he lost, but with his inner circle still urged state election officials to find more votes and pressured former Vice President Mike Pence to reject the electoral vote count.
ABC's Justin Finch. Trump said he'll respond in unspecified fashion today. The Supreme Court won't get involved in the dispute over classified documents.
The Supreme Court gave no reason and noted no dissents. In a single-sentence order, the court denied former President Trump's request to restore classified documents to the ongoing review of materials taken in the August search of his Florida home. The Supreme Court's decision not to intervene means the special master appointed in the case and Trump's legal team will not have access to about 100 documents with classification markings. The Justice Department is using them in its investigation into the way Trump handled government records. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
The government reported inflation was running at 8.2% in September. That's going to translate into bigger Social Security payments.
According to the Social Security Administration, that translates into about $140 extra a month for the average recipient starting in January. That is the largest cost of living increase in the program in 4 decades. It comes at a time when inflation is eating into Americans' pockets.
ABC's Faith Abube. Ukrainian military gains in the south may be worrying Putin. Russia promising free accommodation to residents of the partially occupied Kherson region who want to evacuate to Russia. The Russian-backed leader there asked the Kremlin to organize evacuation from 4 cities. You're listening to ABC News.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building, fast and easy. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
Get more than just a great deal. Get the Luther Advantage. Every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 60-day, 2,500-mile warranty. Every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 5-day, 500-mile return policy. Use your Luther Advantage card and save on gas, or even a car wash at any Holiday Station store. Get the Luther Advantage at Luther Family Buick GMC, corner of I-29 and 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Harvest season is a busy one in the Red River Valley, with farmers working on harvesting their crops and with kids back in school. Cass County Farm Bureau would like to remind you to take extra time to ensure everyone stays safe, whether working on harvest or transporting kids to or from school. Keep alert so no one gets hurt. Supporting safety on the air because they care. From your friends at Cass County Farm Bureau.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, and we are on Friday. Well, at least this Friday.
This Friday.
We're feeling a little, it's Frisky Friday and Free Friday, so we're going to be giving away one of our beautiful rain gauges.
Yes.
We're giving away 2. One for hopefully 2. If you are watching us on Acres TV, or if you are watching us live stream, YouTube or Facebook. That's one way to win it, and you'll have to be watching to understand. We can't tell you.
No, but you have to, like you said, you got to tune in and watch us on Acres TV. And again, we live stream this every day. So we're willing for people to take a little look and see what we might have going on screen that could help them win.
Right. And the other one, we're going to do a little trivia question here. And okay, you take this over because I got to figure out a way to word this without giving it away here real quick.
All right. While Dean is busy working, I'll make sure to remember that the rain gauges that we have been giving away this fall and will continue to is for Productive Alternatives. They are out of Fergus Falls, Minnesota. They do a fantastic job. Wait a sec. Here we go again. They do a fantastic job of producing these. They are good enough to be used by the National Weather Service. So that's outstanding.
Yeah. So today's trivia question. This is, what is the name? This if you can get the correct answer, 701-293-9000. This is defined as an area of low pressure that loses 24 millibars in 24 hours. So in other words, it strengthens 24 millibars in a 24-hour period.
What's a millibar?
That's how we rank how strong a storm system is. So if you look at it's inches of mercury. So if you look at your home barometer,
Yeah.
as the barometer goes down,
Okay.
your area of low pressure is coming in. As it goes up, high pressure is moving in. So it's a gauge of low pressure, high pressure,
Sure.
storms, how strong they are. So this is identified as an area of low pressure that decreases 24 millibars in a 24-hour period. What is that called? We've used that term before. It's a rather newer term.
Well, it tends to bring, it tends to be a headline when it happens, particularly in highly populated areas.
Yeah. And it's very much so, yeah. And again, it's an area of low pressure that loses 24 millibars in 24 hours. So it strengthens 24 millibars in 24 hours. What is the name of that?
And if you think you know, please go ahead and call us at 701-293-9000. You can't have won something within the last 30 days, but we are happy to have you call in and try to win. If you're new and you think you have the answer to this, that'd be great.
Looks like Jacob's got somebody on the phone, but we'll go to some other topics first. Let's hit weather real quick.
Yes.
So we've got a pretty chilly weekend. Tomorrow, not too bad, but this area of low pressure, it's an upper low that's parked over the Great Lakes. And as we've been saying, the LRC has just set up. It's 8 days in here, and it's been a dry start to the LRC. And then this big signature area of low pressure parked over the Great Lakes, funneling in windy and cold conditions with periods of precip, but nothing too heavy.
I can attest to that. I was out there.
Yeah, and it's just raw out there. And this is going to be one of the signature storms that cycles back through. Now, we're going to go on another dry streak. So after the signature storm, we go on another dry stretch here for about a week. And then it looks like we may see a pattern change. Our European model is signifying that we're going to start getting more storms coming in off the Pacific. The big ridge of high pressure, which is like a blocking mechanism, that's what's causing this system to park over our area. That will that will break down, and then we'll start to see more storms coming in off the Pacific. That would be good news because we'll see our dry stretch on the LRC, and then we'll see a big storm park itself over. Then we'll see another dry stretch, and then we'll see possible stormy conditions come back into play. We'll see how that pans out. Our American model, totally different from what our European model is forecasting. And it's not what's forecasted, it's what actually happens.
Right.
To where we can get the LRC. So let's see. Do we have a winner, Jacob?
All right.
But it has been 30 days. So we have, who do we have? Jeff on the line?
All right, we do.
Jeff, how you doing today?
Sure. Doing all right, you?
Doing good. So what is the answer to our trivia question?
So I got a granddaughter that's in. She's just a weather freak, and she just studies weather all the time, and every day she wants to talk about the weather.
Sweet.
So, and I learned it from her, bomb cyclone.
You are correct.
Nice.
Congratulations. And how old is you said your daughter or granddaughter?
His granddaughter, she's actually 12 here, and I swear she's going to grow up to be a meteorologist.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, you should give the rain gauge to her. It's up to you. But what we would like is the people that we're giving these rain gauges away to when we do get precip, we'd love to if you guys could let us know how much precip you recorded, because then we pass that along to the National Weather Service, and then that allows them to get more accurate kind of readings on how much rain or precip fell in the area. So Jeff, congratulations. Thanks for listening. Did Jacob get all your info?
He did.
Yes,
got his hand up.
He did. Yep.
All right. Yeah. So we'll have that rain gauge waiting for you here at our studios. Just stop by. You know where it's at, correct?
Yep, I do. So thank you.
You bet. You have a great weekend, Jeff. Thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll share the rain gauge, and then actually I'll put it in her yard. We only live about less than a half mile apart. And she'd love to do that. She'll record it and everything. Just into all that stuff.
She can start emailing us weather reports.
Yeah, and she might be our next meteorologist. That's awesome. That's good to hear.
There you go. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right. See ya.
Yeah, all right. That's great. I love that.
I think it's awesome.
12-year-old granddaughter.
Anytime kids get involved, right? Whether it's the weather, whether it's ag, all those things, I think that's phenomenal because you just never know how they're going to be able to apply that in their adult life, what they might do with it.
And this goes back to STEM, like we were
sure
talking
it does
the other
with
day.
Megan Lewis when she was on Wednesday. And if you have missed any of our guests this week or any of our discussion, you are welcome to go to our website for WDAY, and you can find us in the show archives under Weather and Ag in Focus, and you're able to pull up all of our audio and hear what we've been talking about the last few days. Not that we don't have new topics.
Right.
Because we do.
Right. So let's continue with our weather talk here. Do we have? We've got a little time here. So after this cold weekend, and again, this is this big area of upper low pressure that will finally move out as we head into next week. We'll start to get a flow off the Pacific, and that will warm us up. And eventually, it could. We'll see how it pans out. Turn us a little stormier as well, and bring a little precip into the Rockies as well, which they need as. We'll see that ridge break down. We'll warm up from the 40s the start of this week to the upper 60s. We're even getting some signs that we could approach 70. It'll be brief by
nonetheless
by next weekend. So this new LRC cycle is kind of all over the place. As last year's started off stormy. We had a wet October last year.
We really did, and actually that was good for us. It was nice to have that moisture when we froze up. Now we got to spring. We had some rain. It got wet. That's what delayed us going into the field. But right now, I think there's a lot of farmers that would be happy to see if we had some moisture when we went to freeze up.
Right. And we really, again, we don't want this dry cycle to last too long over an extended period of time, because that's when you start to get those drought conditions to strengthen, worsen, however you want to put it. So again, this LRC, it's a way, if you're new to this, it's a way we forecast long-term using a cycling pattern. It's proved accurate. It forecasted Hurricane Ian in March. The LRC forecasted it down to the week and right down to the general area it was going to hit. So this is a great way to forecast, especially larger storm systems like this area of low pressure that's just parked over the area. And then we'll see again what pans out over the next 30 to 40 days. Once the cycle is set, then we're going to be able to predict what it's like for the rest of the winter, spring, and summer. And again, this will help the farmers. If we know we're going into another drought in the spring and summer because we're not getting precip in this first LRC cycle, then the farmers can kind of adjust.
Right. We can plan for some of those things.
Right. Good deal. What else do we got on the dockets for today?
We're going to take some time to go listen to some news right now.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we've got a number of topics I want to talk about. And I know even though it's NDSU playing SDSU tomorrow, I'm going to give a little credit to some South Dakota organizations when we come back.
Great.
Hard for me to do, but they're doing good work. So I'll have to throw up my good Go Bison. And we will be back after we listen to the news, and we'll catch up after that.
All right.
Urban Toad Media has moved, now in a brand new location on Main Avenue in West Fargo. Urban Toad Media offers the same quality graphic design and professional photography. Urban Toad Media has been a leader in the FM area, providing exceptional graphic design and professional photography. They offer friendly and affordable service. You'll love working with Urban Toad Media. Visit their website at urbantoadmedia.com for more info.
Terry, so talk about doing business with DJ Coulter and American Family Insurance.
DJ is one of those insurance agents that's always going to be there for you. And he's always got great advice for a young family starting out, for an old family. We've got all our cars through DJ, our RVs and our boats. We took out a couple cash value life insurance policies, wanted to do long-term after we retire. DJ helped us through the steps on that.
DJ Coulter, American Family Insurance, 235-6641, djcoulter.com.
Busch Light Apple is back for 2022. It's not a cider. It's actually a beer that tastes like apple and goes down smooth.
It's been a popular seasonal beer the last 2 years, coming out with the apple harvest, and this is the third and final year they'll produce this beer. So if you've not tasted it, this year is your last chance. And if you liked it last year, then you better get to the liquor store before they're gone. Clear, crisp, light beer in the red apple colored can.
Find it in your neighborhood liquor store and take it home to your backyard or the lake. Busch Light Apple, get it now.
Finish your weekday strong at O'Kelly's with happy hour specials from 3 to 6 p.m. Save $2 on all apps and $1 off all wells and taps. Enjoy delicious Southwest egg rolls or the full plate nachos built right with the works on top, just to name a few. And if you're out a little later, enjoy those same specials 9 p.m. to close. $2 off all apps and $1 off all wells and taps. 3 to 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. to close every weekday at O'Kelly's, just off I-29 in Main Avenue. O'Kelly's, delicious food priced right. I-29 in Main in Fargo.
This is Spencer Brandt from Media Shack LLC. Do you want to have fun at the workplace? Media Shack's the place for you. Join our hardworking team of 14 people. We're currently hiring sales, embroidery, screen printing, production, and shipping and receiving positions. To get started, go to MediaShackFargo.com/careers. That's MediaShackFargo.com/careers. WDAY.com/careers or call 701-612-9363 and ask for Jenna. That's 701-612-9363.
The Fargo Forum endorsed my opponent, arguing we need him because he's a long-term politician, a member of Doug Burgum's Good Old Boys Club. They wrote that I have the skills to be your Secretary of State. They just want the establishment politician to win. Let's prove them wrong. I'm Jeffrey Powell, that's with 2 L's. I'm a career educator, and because I'm not a Republican, I won't get involved in the reindeer games in Bismarck. Before November 8, cast your vote for Jeffrey Powell for Secretary of State. Paid for by Jeffrey Powell for North Dakota, Eric Savanasant, Treasurer.
Welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. So glad that you are joining us. And by us, I mean myself, Bridgette Readel, as Ag Director, along with Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Our faithful sidekick companion, Justin Storm, is off for a couple weeks as they celebrate the birth of new baby. And we just thought it was fitting. Maybe we shouldn't have him call in. He might be trying to catch up on some sleep.
Oh, man. I told him, I said, your days of staying up till 10, 11 at night,
No, but now
your days of waking up at 2, 3 in the morning, those will increase.
You know what? Now he's got somebody to sit in the buddy seat on his farming simulator game with him. That's
absolutely.
Perfect. He's got a ride along now. Okay, we've talked about quite a bit about what the weather's doing right now, but we have some ag-related headlines. Do you want to do yours or mine first?
Let's start with mine. So, okay. I was reading this. They're doing a study finding a potential link between recovering farmland and improved air quality in the U.S. That sounds pretty interesting.
Well, it is. Okay, you finished your question, and then I'll dive in there.
Okay, for anybody that doesn't, how does that work?
Okay,
improving air quality by recovering farmland.
Okay, so let's think of it a couple of different ways. First of all, when they say recovering farmland, we have a program, and it has been around since the 80s, called Conservation Reserve Program, CRP.
And that's where they don't plant any crop at all.
So you put a grass crop on or something that constitutes like a cover crop. You don't leave it bare ground. Okay, so it's there to help prevent erosion. CRP is designed for poor quality land. Maybe it's highly erodible. Perhaps it also has high salt or salinity, and it doesn't produce a good crop. So you as a farmer are literally, or a landowner, are literally being paid to keep that out of production, okay? Because they want that poor quality land to not be eroding, etc. Now, when you put a plant on there, it's like plants in your house. They take in CO2 and give off oxygen, which the last time I checked, fairly important for you and I.
Very.
I mean, besides our favorites of beer and beef, oxygen's a good one. And so those plants, when you have CRP, they are helping that atmosphere. They're kind of like a filter. So it leads to the whole discussion right now with carbon emissions, because the plants are capturing the carbon, which we don't want to go up as a greenhouse gas, and they're keeping it in the ground. But this isn't new. We've been doing it for decades.
Okay.
So it's been a positive. When you think about the Biden administration wanting to do their 30 by 30, where they want 30% of the farmland, or 30% of the land into a conservation or in a park or something like that by 2030. Currently in the U.S., 28.2% of our land is already there. So we're already doing it. You know, none of this is really surprising. It's how you spin the numbers.
Right.
Yeah. Fair statement. Yeah. So I think it's a good thing. We're already doing it. So anybody who wants to say farmers have to step up what they do for carbon emissions, please remember.
They're already doing it.
Well, in agriculture, we give off 2% of carbon emissions. 2% on the globe. And we're getting the finger pointed at us that we're doing bad things. You want to talk about bad things? We'll talk about your lawn and its fertilizer, but maybe I shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so what else do we have?
Okay, there is a conference next week that I wish I wasn't too old to go to.
That's age discrimination then.
So they don't need someone there who's like their mom.
Okay.
But the North Dakota Stockmen's Association has a conference. It's called Tomorrow's Top Hands Beef Leadership Summit. And it'll be here in West Fargo. It is a 3-day event. It is for youth 14 to 20. And they are going to have a series of folks come in to talk about leadership in their young lives and what they can do to be better in the beef industry. And I'll hand you that article, Dean.
Okay.
They're going to do things such as have speakers like I think it's Chelsea Urlacher from New Rockford. Chelsea is a farmer and with a beef operation. She's going to talk about how she's taken over her family operation and what she does. Then they also are going to do tours of places like 701X, the livestock software management company here in Fargo, RDO Equipment, also NDSU's Animal Science and Beef Barns. Then they have an opportunity to listen to Braxton Nielsen. He is a bareback rider, rodeo rider, and he had a debilitating accident in 2017, how he came back from that. They have just a number of seminars on how to bring out their best selves to be future leaders in the beef industry and really in agriculture.
And so are these tickets free if people want to go to this?
If you wanted to reach out to the North Dakota Stockmen's Association via their website, or you can send an email to me, ag@flagfamily.com. Dean's email is weather@flagfamily.com. I'll share the link with you so that you could sign up. And again, this is for youth ages 14 to 20, and they can attend this conference for 3 days in West Fargo.
And it's great to get the youth involved as well. As we were down when we were down in South Dakota, in Baltic, and just it was great seeing, and even out here at Big Iron, it was great seeing these younger kids out there, just wanting to absorb and soak it up.
There's so many ways that we can do that with youth. You know, we talk about 4-H and FFA as leadership programs that students do, but that shouldn't end just when they get out of high school. And we're going to take a chance to listen to ABC News here at the bottom of the hour. But when we come back, I have yet another example of how youth, and now we're talking past high school, but folks who are farming, how in the state of South Dakota, there's some apprenticeships that are being done to get youth more excited and interested in their rural communities and serving in leadership roles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. We're going to hear from ABC News, and we'll be back after this.
Think pink and help make a difference, because during Pucklich and Valley City's Why Pink event, we're donating $100 for every vehicle sold and $10 for every service repair order. Help us reach our goal of $10,000 donated to the JRMC Cancer Center and Sanford Roger Maris Cancer Center. So think pink and help make a difference as we raise $10,000 during our Why Pink event at Pucklich Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City.
Do you run diesel? ATI Fargo has bulletproofing on your 6.0 vehicles. Looking to get fleet work done? ATI Fargo has you covered. They have fuel system disaster prevention kits for your 6.7 Power Strokes. ATI Fargo can get your Cummins head studded and never think of it again. Do you own a business and need quick turnaround on repairs? Call ATI Fargo. Stop in at 2764 44th Avenue North in Fargo. Running diesel? Check out ATI Fargo and give them a call at 218-639-5017.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we're here to tell you the original My Slippers are almost completely sold out. My Slippers has a brand new all-season slippers, slides, and sandals for as low as $29.98.
This is a limited time offer, so go to MyPillow.com, use promo code WDAY, and get all new footwear for as low as $29.98. All-season slippers are made with exclusive 4-layer design that you won't find in any other slipper.
They are finished with a breathable fabric so you can wear them all year round. Slides and sandals are made with patented impact gel, making them ultra comfortable and extremely durable, guaranteed. They will make the most comfortable footwear you'll ever wear.
So just go to MyPillow.com or call the number on the screen and get your very own all-season slipper, slides, and sandals as low as $29.98 with promo code WDAY. This is an introductory offer, so it won't last long. Order now. Call 800-875-0644.
Do you wonder why so many young people are identifying as transgender? Are you concerned with how this movement is impacting the next generation and our country? Do you want to engage on the transgender topic, but aren't sure where to begin or what to say? If you want answers to these questions and more, go to ndcan.org, ndcan.org right now, and join us in Bismarck on October 15th for North Dakota's first conference on gender. Become inspired and empowered to weigh in on the most significant cultural and political issue of our time. You'll hear from expert speakers such as Epic Times journalist Alex Newman, author of Crimes of the Educators, and former transgender Walt Heyer, who's been featured on Laura Ingraham, Glenn Beck, and Candace Owens. There is limited seating for this event, so go right now to ndcan.org. Again, that's ndcan.org to reserve your tickets today.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our wonderful, talented Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. If you have any questions for us, feel free to give us a call, 701-293-9000. That's 701-293-9000. Or you can email us, weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com.
And we like questions.
We love questions. If you have questions about weather, about the LRC, about anything that we've been talking about recently, maybe you forgot to ask us, give us a jingle.
And also, I am waiting for someone to call and say whatever I said. They're going to be like, no, you're full of crap. So I'm waiting for someone to call me out. And not that I want to be inaccurate, but if I am,
right,
I'm willing to be corrected.
Yeah.
I would be happy to know if I have something wrong.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Absolutely.
What do you got next?
Well, okay. So I was just reading the other day that Railroad, the union, shot down latest contract offer. They're going to be on a cooling off period.
Right.
Through the end of November, I think.
So there's a pile of labor unions. There's not just one.
Right.
There's like 9 or 12 of them. I don't remember the number off the top of my head that have to ratify that agreement, and not all did. And so without enough unions to ratify it, this now, like you said, goes to a cooling off period through November. So once again, things are still running, but there could be a shutdown at some point.
So, I mean, with harvest winding down, you're shipping cross country on rail all season. So it's not like, okay, harvest is done, everything's shipped out. This will, if they do go on strike over the winter months, this will absolutely affect
it's huge
product.
So what's being combined right now is being hauled into those elevators. There is a backlog of rail cars. Now, every Friday, Senator Kramer's office sends out an update on what the railroad backlog is, and it's been better over the last few months. But that doesn't mean they're always there when you need them. Trains have to get loaded, and I just want you to put that in perspective. How many trucks do you see going up and down the road that are hauling into an elevator? There's a lot of product coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They can't move it out as fast by rail, by other trucks, et cetera. So the bottleneck is coming where our 23 crop that's being brought in right now, and you'll also see bunkers out in the countryside where corn's being piled outside, then it'll be tarped. That all is going to move through the winter months. That doesn't move right now.
How long can that last?
As far as tarping the corn piles?
Yeah.
So it varies on how well you do putting it into the pile. If you put it in with high moisture underneath that tarp, just like we've talked about with sugar beets, right? So that grain will continue to increase in temperature. It'll cause rotting spots, and then you lose some of that grain quality. If you put it in at a low moisture, so it's nice and dry, tarp it. You usually have big culverts going underneath it that draw air into the pile to keep the piles cooled and move temperature around. Same thing happens with sugar beets.
Okay.
You'll see sugar beet piles where they look like a bird's mouth that's open as a big beak, and it literally is a fan that sucks in cold air and shoves it into the pile so that the pile freezes. So when it's frozen, they don't break down. It's like the freezer in your house.
Right.
We just use Mother Nature to our advantage. So nonetheless, with those corn piles, they can last till spring. The one that's closest to me, it's about 7 miles away. They usually don't pull that pile down till like March or April of next year before they have that all off.
Okay. So if the rail industry does go on strike,
right?
So you have to have other methods to ship this. So,
right.
I mean, obviously trucking, but we're short on truckers. We're short on that.
We don't exactly have the Red River doesn't have a barge system on it.
Right.
But if we could ship by truck or rail to Minneapolis to get on the Mississippi, what's wrong with the Minneapolis or the Minnesota rivers?
It is low, yeah.
The Mississippi,
it's
yeah.
low, and barge traffic there. So this could be
we got a backlog.
Not nationally.
Mm-hmm. So we're raising the crop, right? Even though right now USDA has come out, like they did their WASD report recently within the last week, and said that the overall U.S. corn crop is lower than they expected. It's still a huge crop that's out there. We're talking billions of bushels, and it's got to go somewhere. And if it's all just sitting, it means it's not being processed and it's not getting to the grocery store shelves fast.
Okay, so let's do worst case scenario that the rail system does go on strike. What does that mean for the average consumer?
Well, first of all, let's go all the way back to the farm. You're not getting equipment that you need, and if you have breakdowns and repairs, you're not getting parts. Let's use General Mills or Kellogg's, basic breakfast cereal. If you're not moving wheat and corn to those processing facilities, they don't have a product to process to put into the box to put on the grocery store shelf.
Would this be a short term? I mean, because I'm sure they have product now.
Yeah, they do.
This would be more
spot outages
down the road,
which we've gone through.
Okay.
We've already went through that in the last couple of years with the pandemic. Sometimes you had your favorite brand on the shelf.
Right.
Sometimes you didn't. So we could see some outages. I don't want to create some sort of panic that we're going to have a worldwide food shortage. Here in the U.S., we're very good at food. Yeah. We're real good at keeping our shelves full. So we are going to continue to see that. But it also builds into cost, right? It's a basic supply and demand. You have a huge supply, you have a huge demand, price is going to go up. Mm-hmm. So it would explain why we're seeing 12 to 15% year-on-year inflation on food items right now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that gets ironed out.
That's going to be a big deal. The rail movement matters. For North Dakota, and now that we're getting a couple of soybean crushing plants, we're going to keep more of our soybeans here. But historically, they've gone on rail, gone to the Pacific Northwest, and gone out to the Asian markets. It was a big deal when we didn't do as much business with China, but that doesn't mean we shut off Japan and Taiwan and some of those other countries.
Sure.
So there's a lot to be done there.
Again, hope for the best on that.
I think I just did a big farming dump on you, Dean.
You did. That's okay. That's all right.
So let's talk a little bit about the small town North Dakota, South Dakota, et cetera, if we could for just a moment. And you guys know I'm an alumni of NDSU. I'm a big Bison fan. Horns up. And but I do have to give credit to a couple of things that are going on in South Dakota right now. One of them is Central Dakota Co-op, which is like a local elevator. They handle grain, they handle agronomy inputs down around like the Salem, South Dakota area and up into the central part of their state. They have created an apprentice program. So let's say you're a young farmer and you've been asked to be on the board of the co-op and you're a little gun shy. Yeah, I'm kind of young. That board's made up of all these people that sort of know what's been going on. They've been there a while. They created this apprenticeship program so you can join the board, understand the financials, how a meeting runs, how we make those business decisions before you become a voting member. And it's helping get some of their younger farmers more interested in being on their boards because we need that leadership to step up. The joke is often made, especially if you're in rural North Dakota on a township or a water board. Once you're there, it's a lifetime sentence or position. This helps get people excited about doing it. A little different.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And what else do we have over here?
Well, there's another one from South Dakota.
You've got a whole streak of papers over here. So.
I know. And here I go talking about South Dakota again. There's another cooperative down there called Agtegra, and they're a fairly sizable group. Again, grain, agricultural inputs, agronomy input. And Agtegra is going ahead and paying their employees to take part in a first aid or a basic responders class that they're doing with University of South Dakota out of Vermilion with the med school down there. So they're creating ditch kits. If, for instance, you're working at an Agtegra location, you've been paid to go through the training, but something happens. You have a kit with you that has a tourniquet, a Mylar blanket, a mask to do CPR, any of those things that you might need as a first responder until an ambulance can arrive, because you may be able to help save a life.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's huge.
Is this how new is this? Because I'm surprised this hasn't been implemented a long time ago. Fairly
recent. I think that Agtegra is partnering to do this with the USD. So I think it's fairly new. But the other thing that they're doing is they are putting employees through grain bin entrapment rescue,
which is
training.
Big.
Yeah, it is. We're at harvest. We are approaching that time where grain bin accidents get worse. I mean, I'm saying that I don't want to forecast it, but we're going to put grain into bins. Right now, some of it's a little higher moisture, like we just talked about. Okay, when you have that higher moisture corn or grain overall, it can kind of bridge up in the bin. So let's say you're pulling grain out from the bottom. I was watching your face, and Dean's like, okay, I'm envisioning this. I'm picturing a bin, and the grain's piling up on the top. You're going to start pulling out from an auger in the bottom. Well, some of that grain might get bridged up or packed in the top. So oftentimes, someone will go in that bin and try to knock loose that grain.
So they'll go in the bin
from the bottom, and there's grain hanging above them.
Okay.
Don't do that, okay? Because if you do that and you knock that down, that can all fall on you, cover you, and you don't necessarily understand the pressure of what it's like to literally be choked and suffocated by that grain covering you.
Well, I'm assuming most farmers know not to go in there, correct?
Most absolutely do.
So why would they?
It still happens. Or you enter the bin from the top and you've got an unloading auger on the bottom that's pulling grain, and you don't realize how quickly it's pulling, and you can get sucked down into that grain. Okay, because it will happen in split seconds. I've talked with farmers. I just had a friend here 2 weeks ago who was cleaning out a bin, and he said his sweep auger swung around way faster than he expected, and he tripped. And he said, had his broom handle not stopped that sweep auger, he says, it likely would have got a hold of my pant leg. Wow. I mean, accidents happen. We all know that, and they happen very quickly. So for those who want to be safer, do a better job, we're going to have a guest next week, Angie Johnson. She is with North Dakota State University. We've had her on before. She is the Farm and Rural Safety Specialist. She'll talk about bin entrapments. We know that there are a lot of rural fire departments who have gone through bin entrapment training. And just thank you to those folks who do that. That's a big part of North Dakota Fire School when you're a volunteer and you go to those training classes. And we can't do it enough because, unfortunately, it still happens every year.
Right. And we've got Greg on line one.
Okay.
Greg, we've got about 1:30 before we have to hit break. But you got a question about the blizzard from 1940. What was your question there, Greg?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's 1940 or 41. It was November 11th. They used to call it Armistice Day back in those days. But
right.
When World War I ended, they called that Armistice Day. And anyway, I think it was November 11th of 1940 or 41, and it trapped and killed a lot of hunters out in Minnesota predominantly. It seemed like Minnesota was hammered.
Oh, but Greg, you're also that's the children's blizzard is what you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Maybe the weatherman can do some homework this weekend and then report back on that. And my folks and grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles used to talk about this terrible. I think it must have hammered North Dakota too, probably a little.
Greg,
and,
we actually
Minnesota.
You brought up a great topic. The weather guy actually has a book on his desk that I brought in. It's called The Children's Blizzard, and there were it was beautiful weather that started out in the morning, and it changed very rapidly, and it trapped a number of children who were coming home from school.
In fact, they had 20-foot drifts were reported near Wilmer, Minnesota.
Yes.
It left 49 dead in Minnesota. And the gales on Lake Michigan caused shipwrecks, resulting in another 59 deaths, a total of 154, and killed thousands of cattle in Iowa.
That storm went all the way through the Dakotas down to Nebraska.
Yep.
And that when it killed the cows, it was because all the ice built up on their faces. They couldn't breathe. It literally iced over their nostrils, and they suffocated.
Wow.
Yep. So good question, Greg.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Greg. You have yourself a good weekend. All right, we've got to hit break now. Again, we still have one of these beautiful rain gauges to give away from Productive Alternatives in Fergus Falls. Call in with the keyword.
Yes.
But the only way you know what the keyword is
look us up on video.
Look us up on video, either Acres TV, or you can live stream us on Facebook or YouTube. So, again, we've got that one more beautiful rain gauge to give away. You just have to call in and give the key word.
Excellent.
We'll check in here with ABC News, and we'll be right back.
Brian Feuder with the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program.
NDSCS's apprenticeship program is really based on the typical apprenticeship models that have been in existence for many years. But currently there are over 1,000 apprenticeable occupations that are recognized by the United States Department of Labor.
Hi, I'm Dixie Bope. I'm the Director of Nursing at Four Seasons Healthcare Center. I encourage other companies to use the NDSCS apprenticeship program. They have a personal relationship with you. They help you out with advertising. They help bringing in new candidates, interviews, getting the word out.
Hi, my name is Pamela Morrow, Project Specialist for NDSCS Apprenticeship. If you're interested in a program, please reach out today by calling 701-231-6927 or go online to ndscs.edu/workforce-affairs and click on the Apprenticeship North Dakota tab.
See if the NDSCS Apprenticeship Program is for you.
Hey, Chris Berg here. Radio personalities like myself, we spend a ton of time and energy during the day, obviously in front of the computer. We're looking for news stories for you, talking to callers. So when the day is finally over, I get to go home and crawl into my Comfort King excited because I know I'm going to get a great night's sleep. At Comfort King Mattress Factory, they build a mattress just for you. That's what they do. Comfort King has the only lifetime comfort guarantee. So buy local and shop Comfort King Mattress Factory.
If you're a rock star truck driver, you should check out Prairie Supply. Prairie Supply has good, long-standing relationships in the construction industry across North Dakota and the Central Plains. They are looking for passionate CDL drivers who are self-motivated and hands-on. As a driver for Prairie Supply, you'll be well paid and receive full benefits. They want to keep their people through an environment of success and advancement options. If traveling the open road sparks your interest, visit prairiesupply.com, where they value their customers and employees.
Wheat led the grains lower today. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risfeld with this closing market. Dismal corn and wheat export sales last week, with total corn sales now down 51% versus a year ago, along with the resumption of weakness in financial markets, pummeled grain and soy to end the week. Crude oil slipped over $3 per barrel as more problems are expected within the U.S. and world economies, following the worse-than-expected inflation indicators. Soybean prices did see modest support this morning, with USDA announcing another sale of 21.7 million bushels of the oilseed to a combination of China and to unknown destinations. Now, those unknown destinations are widely believed to be China as well. Furthermore, though, the Philippines bought 230,000 metric tons of soy meal overnight on top of the large sales of nearly 492,000 metric tons reported in this morning's weekly export sales report. However, those numbers quickly turned lower soon after the opening bell, along with wheat and corn, wheat being the leader to the downside. The drought continues to intensify in Argentina, but yesterday's updated European weeklies model that peers through the month of November calls for the drought to spread north into perhaps the southern half of Brazil in the weeks ahead. Now, not all models agree, but it does suggest that the risks are increasing for Brazil, where previously it had been thought that there was a good start for the crops down there. Argentina's wheat crop continues to deteriorate, with some local estimates saying it could fall below 15 million metric tons. Corn planting is notably delayed due to dry soils, but the planting season in Argentina stretches into February, so there is still some time there. Let's get a look at the closing commodity numbers. December corn down 8 at 689 3/4. November beans down 12 at 1383 3/4. Bean meal October unchanged at 418.50. Bean oil October down 44 at 69.57. Wheat Chicago December down 32.5 at 859 3/4. Kansas City December down 30 at 952 1/4. And the Minneapolis December wheat, that is down 24 at 955. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risfeld.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus here on WDAY. Again, we still have one of these fantastic rain gauges to give away. You can call us 701-293-9000. All you need to do is give us the keyword. These are great rain gauges from Productive Alternatives down in Fergus. Very sturdy. These aren't your cheap ones. These are very, very nice. How do I know what the keyword is, Dean? You have to be watching us on live stream. That's how.
You do on Acres TV, on our Facebook Live page, or you can watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
We're all over the place. We're all over. And we're going to go all over the place in terms of national weather. So let's take a look at what's going on around the lower 48. And, well, obviously this big area of low pressure, upper level low, parked over the northern Great Lakes, and it's stubborn. It's not moving. Why is it not moving? Big ridge out to our west and big ridge off the coast, off the east coast as well. And we're kind of low pressure is stuck. It's got nowhere to go. So
you want to kickstart that? Get that thing moving?
We need to. We can bring a little motley crew kickstart this storm, but it will finally get a little kick in the rear and move out of here as we head into. It looks like about Tuesday of next week. So that's going to be around for 5-6 days. And again, this is part of the LRC cycle. When this comes back during the winter, and it'll come back more than once.
Yeah.
Boy, it's going to drag down some probably bitterly, dangerously cold air along with the wind. So keep this in the back of your mind. We're not sure what the length of the cycle is, but I'm just going to throw out 45 days. Let's assume our LRC cycle is 45 days. So you can bank on 45 days. Let's just say from today, it'll be back around, and then another 45 days after that, and another 45 days after that. So it'll make for an interesting little part of the winter season. So that's the main big storm over the U.S. Other than that, pretty quiet. The Northeast from Vermont, New Hampshire, up into Maine, flood watches. They could use the rain up there, so that's good news there. And in the desert Southwest, southeastern California into southern Arizona, Lake Havasu, Bullhead City, those areas under a flood watch. There's an area of low pressure parked off the southern California coast, and that's pumping a lot of moisture into those areas. Great news for them.
That is huge news for them.
That is great news for them. Other than that, the nation pretty quiet. A lot of wind advisories in the central part of the U.S. from Nebraska through Kansas, through Missouri, through Arkansas, southern Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. So this area of low pressure that's parked in the northern lakes is really encompassing a good chunk of the north, central, and Great Lakes. So pretty big storm. I know it's not having a big effects on us in terms of, when we say storm, a lot of people think, well,
it's going to be massive.
Snow and rain, and
right,
it is a massive storm, but doesn't have a lot of moisture associated with it. So
just reminds me that my friend on Twitter, Jay, he farms in that Barnesville Comstock area. At this point, he will remind me that I have not yet put my coveralls in my pickup, and he's not wrong. So I guess I better get that thing rolling.
That's a good plan.
We'll have to have a whole day to talk about winter survival kits and what we all need to drag around.
We'll have plenty of time for that. Yeah. But again, we got this one rain gauge left, 701-293-9000. If you can give us the key word.
Well, they got to see it online.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so they have to go online to see what the key word is.
Absolutely. That would be awesome. Appreciate that. Well, okay, so speaking of things that are awesome, first of all, we know that we got a little time here before the Jay Thomas Show kicks off at 2 o'clock. And I have this whole list of ag trivia
I will love it.
State. Okay, Dean.
All right.
I'm gonna see how much I can challenge you with some of these. Here's one of my favorites. Although best known for horses, Kentucky's #1 ag commodity is
known for horses. Their #1 ag commodity in Kentucky. Is it a well-known commodity?
Oh yeah, it's a sizable chunk of the American diet as far as a protein is concerned. You and I love beef, but this would maybe be a second choice.
Okay, I'll say wheat.
Chickens,
poultry.
So not just chickens. I should also say turkeys included, but that's a big deal.
Interesting
for them. A couple others.
Strike one.
All right, come on, you can do this. All right. More than 30,000 farms in this state are operated by female agriculturalists. It's a big state. In order to have 38,000 farms operated by women alone, what state could it be?
Well, I'm gonna guess Texas.
Everything's bigger than Texas.
All right.
There you go. I'll give you a bell for that one. I haven't used the bell all week.
I know.
Kind of a letdown for some folks. Okay. This is an unusual combination. North Carolina has the top production of 2 items. 2 possible items. One's a fruit.
Okay.
So it might be your favorite.
North Carolina?
Yep, North Carolina.
I would say top in the state or top in...
They are the nation's top producer of these 2 particular crops.
It's not oranges then.
No.
Strawberries?
Yes.
Okay.
Strawberries is one, so there you get a bell.
All right. That's 2.
What do you think the second crop is that's a top producer out of North Carolina? Or what North Carolina has as a top production product for us?
Is it a fruit?
Nope.
No?
I don't think... You don't actually want to swallow this.
Cotton.
Tobacco.
Yeah.
You
I don't want to swallow
you pretty much want to spit that out.
Okay.
Spit it out.
All right.
Okay, and Hey, you said it's Friday. Anything goes. All right. Now, when we think about our territories, that doesn't come up very often. But this particular territory, beekeepers have collected Africanized honeybees from the wild, and they get them from their residents' roofs, trees, and abandoned buildings. One of our territories.
Guam?
The Virgin Islands.
Really?
Yes. So beekeepers actually collect Africanized honeybees from the wild. Now, just a sec. I mean, I don't have a globe in here or anything, but for a bee to come all the way from Africa to the Virgin Islands, I'm hoping they're trapped on a ship.
Well, trade winds.
Okay, will that do it?
You can, because I mean that's where the hurricanes are coming off the African coast.
Yes.
And they travel that zone all the way to the Virgin Islands. So
okay.
That's my only educated guess.
Dude, you're the weather guy. That's why I'm asking you.
That's my guess.
That's a long
It is a long
trip
haul.
for a bee.
Right.
Now, it's frequent that we know odd bugs and insects will travel in freighters when they get caught in a crop, like a box of bananas might have a spider in it or something like that. Although there's got to be ways. I mean, I know with like apples, you can add CO2 to a storage warehouse of apples so that you don't have bugs and pests. I would think that happens on some of those freighter ships as well. Now I need a cargo guy. Now I need someone who works in shipping who can tell me how they do this.
Right. Any other trivia?
Oh, you want me to throw one more at you?
We got time for one more.
This time you pick the state. You pick the state and I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, let's pick Illinois.
Oh, excellent. We're going to an I state. Hold on. Apparently Bridgette can't do alphabetized. All right, Illinois. The state has 1,500 soil types that support an array of crops. They also take top honors as the largest producer of horseradish.
Really?
And pumpkins.
Pumpkins I can see. I remember growing up there was a lot of pumpkin farms.
Pumpkins I remember. And in fact, Festival, which creates most of the pumpkin filling that we use for Thanksgiving pumpkin pies, they have their own particular variety of pumpkins, something special that they want their pumpkin growers to raise just for them to produce pumpkin pie filling.
You're just a wealth of knowledge. I love it.
My brothers say it's useless. Here it's just fun. Okay.
Well, that'll about do it for us for today. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, for listening. Again, for Bridgette and myself, thank you so much for joining us today. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Stay warm. Saturday, not too bad. Sunday, yeah, back to feeling kind of like it is today. So have yourself a good weekend. The Jay Thomas Show is up next. Don't go anywhere.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.
Good afternoon.